Script. The crypto trap: how Bitcoin's anonymity was exposed. It began one crisp morning in 2017 in a quiet suburb outside Atlanta. A team of Homeland Security agents quietly surrounded an unremarkable brick house. Inside, they would seize evidence that would shatter the myth that Bitcoin is anonymous. Wired. Behind the door stood Christian, a special IRS investigator brought in as an observer. He watched as agents separated the family: father in one room, mother in another, the children in yet another, as Mickey Mouse Clubhouse played in the background to soften the moment. Why this wasn't a drag bust. It was something darker and led by a source no one expected: the blockchain. The myth of Bitcoin anonymity. When Bitcoin emerged in 2008, it promised a new kind of freedom, a currency that revealed transaction amounts but hid identities. That promise enticed criminals, believing they could use it for anything, including the worst of crimes. Wired. But Bitcoin's ledger, the blockchain, is entirely public. Every transaction is recorded forever. While addresses don't carry names, patterns emerge. And with smart forensic tools, those patterns can lead back to real people. Wired. A company called Chainalysis built software to trace transactions across the blockchain, clustering addresses, following changes, finding links to exchanges that require identity verification. Wired. When investigators plugged in a Bitcoin address used by Welcome to Video, a dark website trading child sexual abuse content, they saw it all lay bare. Payments flowing in, withdrawals flowing out, and connections to exchanges in South Korea and China. Wired. The site believed it was hidden. It was wrong. The investigation unfolds. At Chainalysis offices in London, Jonathan Levin sat with agents from the UK National Crime Agency, showing them live clusters of crypto addresses tied to Welcome to Video. Wired. The NCA had started noticing the site's scale: content was uploaded and refreshed continuously. It was no small criminal network. It was a global machine of abuse. Wired. They handed Levin a single Bitcoin address known to accept payments from the site. He ran it through the Reactor software. He watched nodes and trails blossom, thousands of addresses clustered into one network. Wired. It was a gold mine. Evidence of thousands of transactions intended to be invisible, now mapped in plain sight. The methods, how they traced it. Many dark web operators use mixers or chain hopping to hide their tracks. But Welcome to Video's operators didn't cover their tracks well. Many users sent Bitcoin directly from their personal wallets tied to exchanges that required ID. Wired. The investigators noticed peel chains, bits of currency being peeled off and sent onward, but often leftover change addresses traced back to the sender. Wired. Another mistake. While the site ran on Tor for anonymity, some thumbnail images were loaded without Tor revealing the actual IP address of the hosting server. One careless oversight cracked the mask. Wired. By combining blockchain clusters, IP leaks, exchange data subpoenas, and good old detective work, they isolated the admin's identities and traces leading across the globe. Wired. The human toll and stakes. This case was not just technical. It hurt those investigating it. Gambarian and Yonchevsky had to watch scenes no person should see. The images, the gravity of what they were exposing, it left scars. Wired. And the targets weren't only faceless criminals. Among them were a high school assistant principal in Georgia, a U.S.N. Border Patrol agent, even an HSI Homeland Security Investigations agent himself. Ordinary men living ordinary lives, but behind them, monstrous acts. Wired. One case culminated in a suicide. Another target jumped from a balcony. The psychological weight of exposure and exposure risk led to real consequences. Wired. Takedown and revelation in Seoul. The trail led to Sun Young-woo, a young Korean who hosted the Welcome to Video service in his own apartment. His server wasn't encrypted. Everything was stored plainly. Wired. When Korean agents moved in, they seized terabytes of videos, user databases, wallet activity, or data that showed the site's entire anatomy. Wired. The crown jewel wasn't the server, it was the proof that the promise of crypto anonymity had been a lie in many cases. Through blockchain forensics, law enforcement had cracked a network once believed impossible to trace. Wired. The bigger message. Crypto is not magic. This case became a warning. Anonymity in crypto is a myth. Crime scenes leave trails even in digital form. For every user, every payment, every withdrawal, data points emerge. The crypto trap isn't about Bitcoin being evil. It's about overconfidence. Belief in secrecy can be a trap for criminals who underestimate forensic tech. And it is about victims, hundreds of thousands across the globe, whose exploiters thought they were safe in a dark web fortress. Closing thoughts, so next time someone says Bitcoin is anonymous, remember welcome to video. A raft of abuse built on a lie exposed by blockchain lights. Justice was never perfect, but in this case, it found its way. If you found this story gripping, hit like, subscribe, and share to help bring more truth to light.